What is going on, guys? It's your boy Fantasy Beast Mode. Today we are going to talk about some draft bargains. Just to be clear, I'm also going to put this information in the description of the video, and I'm also going to start a Google Doc that is going to be editable by you guys in the comments or whatever, so I'll put that down below. Maybe I can get some wisdom from some of you other fantasy lovers. Obviously, you guys love fantasy because it's the beginning of May and you're watching this. So I've probably done about 35 to 40, more than that, probably like 50 mock drafts. And these are some trends that I'm noticing. So why don't we just take a moment and just talk about some draft bargains? Maybe you guys can jot this down and help solidify your team when it comes time. So the first player I want to mention is Ajayi. LeGarrette Blount left Philadelphia, and he touched the ball 180 times last year. Ajayi is very athletic. I think that they're going to finally use him as their feature back. I think Wendell, he might have to be looking over his shoulders a little bit it's either Wendell Smallwood or Corey Clement. One of the two comes in on third down for the Eagles. I'm sorry, guys, I'm having a brain fart. He might have to look over his shoulder a little bit, but I think he's going to get the early down work, and I think that anytime you can get a team's main running back in the 7th round kind of as like a third running back, or even if you want to go wide receiver heavy in the beginning and then get like a running back 3, high-end running back 2 as your running back 2, but I usually prefer to get somebody like Ajayi as my third running back. Okay, so let's take a second and talk about Lamar Miller and Tevin Coleman. One thing I'm noticing is that they're going in the 8th, and I think that that's a very good value for them. One thing that gets overlooked about Lamar Miller is that he gets the majority of his team's touches, and he has the last few seasons. And although he hasn't scored a lot of points, I think anytime you can get a third running back that gets the majority of the team's touches, you're building depth and you're in really good shape. Tevin Coleman is the third down back on the Falcons, and although Devonta Freeman is their true workhorse, I think that he's a good third running back to have, and I think that you can work it out where you take a third running back in the 8th, you get 2 running backs earlier, you get maybe 3 or 4 wide receivers, maybe a stud tight end in there, and then you can sneak in and get that third running back. I really want to emphasize how important it is to get a third running back and not wait until the very end and pick some kind of garbage running back, because then you have no depth at running back. Another trend I'm noticing is that Jared Goff has been available in the 9th round. I'm sure some of you guys have played DraftKings. I'm not sure if you remember last season, but Jared Goff was one of the more expensive quarterbacks, and the fact that you can get him in the 9th round, I think, is a very good value. I would take Jared Goff in the 9th round any day. And I want to make sure and not forget, I want to talk about Lamar Jackson. Where are you, bold? Microsoft Word. Okay. All right, sounds good. Okay. I think I might have accidentally erased this. All right. So as you guys remember, Jimmy Garoppolo had a really good end of the year last year. The last 4 games, he was looking like a top 7 quarterback, like kind of like a little bit above Matthew Stafford in terms of fantasy production. Now, there's 2 wide receivers in San Francisco. Pierre Garçon, in my opinion, is going to be the primary wide receiver, but Marquise Goodwin could come in and be better than the secondary. He could be above the secondary. Maybe he could play like similar to like an Emmanuel Sanders, Demaryius Thomas role where they're both good weapons. And I've noticed that Marquise Goodwin is around in the 9th. And I think, honestly, I recommend that a lot of people target him because Pierre Garçon got injured last year and Marquise Goodwin stepped in and he was like a wide receiver 2. I think they're going to be slinging it. I think that Jerick McKinnon came in, Jimmy Garoppolo. I think the 49ers are going to take a step up. I know they improved their defense, and I think that they're going to have a lot of possession with the ball, and I think that Marquise Goodwin is going to work out. Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys, this is for PPR. This is how I did the draft bargains. Okay, Mohamed Sanu, I've noticed, has been around in the 10th round. He's the number 2 to Matt Ryan, and I think that that's very good value to be able to get the number 2 to Matt Ryan behind Julio in the 10th round. I want to take a second and mention Devante Booker. There's been some speculation that Lamar Miller's going to get cut, and If he were to get cut, I think that Devante Booker would step in and play the feature back role, at least maybe get 75% of the action. And I'm noticing that Devante Booker is around in the 10th. So I think that he could be like a nice sleeper or whatever. Maybe if Lamar Miller does get cut, he'll definitely move up in the drafts. But for now, I've noticed him going around 10th. Okay, so in almost every single video I've posted, I've mentioned taking Jordan Reed and Tyler Eifert late. Now, just to be clear, I'm not telling you guys to take Jordan Reed or Tyler Eifert as your first tight end. Get a tight end and then take these guys out of sheer upside. Because if one of them pops off, you can get a top 3, a top 4 tight end really easy. However, I also want to emphasize that I've noticed that every single year, there's been a good tight end off of the waiver wire. So if you stay smart, pay attention to trends, I think that there's no reason that you can't get a good tight end off of the waiver wire in case you pick one and he isn't really producing. So in terms of defensive rankings, what I've seen with a lot of experts is Jacksonville Jaguars are going 1 and the Minnesota defense is going 2. I'm noticing that the Minnesota defense is around in the 11th round a lot, and I think that would be a really, really, really good value because then you could, rounds 1 to 10, you can load up on a good quarterback, good wide receivers, good running back. Whoops, what happened? Whoops, sorry about that, guys. Everybody slips up. So I think that could be a strategy that you could use. I've mentioned this in almost every other video that I've posted, but I really want to emphasize getting Greg Zuerlien in the 12th round. He's going really late, and he's a stud kicker. And honestly, I think most people pick their kickers in like the 14th or the 15th, maybe the upper tier of Justin Tucker, Steven Gostkowski, Matt Bryant. And, Jake Elliott on the Eagles. I think that he's an upper tier kicker now. Maybe some of them go in like the 13th, but if you reach for Greg Zuerlien in the 12th, I think it's a good move because he was bringing in like 15 or 16 points every week, and that's almost like having like a second running back, having a second running back too. It's a really good investment in terms of the draft. Allen Hurns. Okay, so as you guys know, Dez Bryant left Dallas. And Allen Hurns is becoming at least the wide receiver 2. I'm noticing that Allen Hurns is going in the 13th round, sometimes even in the 14th, and I would recommend picking him. Maybe he can turn into a wide receiver 3 and maybe be a solid flex. And lastly, I want to talk about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is going very, very late. I don't think that he even gets drafted most of the times, actually. Come to think about it. And his upside is the size of the Empire State Building and then another 30 stories. He could possibly be the Deshaun Watson this year. Okay, so I'm going to put all these in the description. I'm also going to make a Google Doc, and everybody's going to have access to it. And I want to hear, who are you guys noticing that are sleepers? Who are you guys noticing that are upside? And I want to make sure and say this. I'm going to try to say this in every single video. Everything I say in this video, guys, it's just my opinion. I'm not writing the law of fantasy and, having an ego and saying this is how it is, argue or whatever. And also, I really, really like it when you guys comment. And I like it when, believe it or not, I like it when you guys leave negative comments because that gets my videos more views. So go ahead and throw shade. I'm grateful that you guys are commenting and because it makes my videos pop up more. Okay. So let's get on to the second half of the video. We're going to do a mock draft. We're going to do PPR. We're going to do 12 teams and second position PPR. I'm a little torn between 2 wide receivers and 3 wide receivers, but why don't we do 2 wide receivers and then a flex that's a wide receiver, running back, tight end. We're going to do a kicker and we're going to do a defense. And to be honest, I don't really like the second draft position, so I'm going to randomize it and see what I get. Okay, 6. Okay, I can rock with 6. I think 6 is a little bit of a disadvantage because you just get middle of the pack players throughout the entire draft. So 6 is probably the one draft position that I wouldn't prefer to have. But I think given my knowledge, my strategy, I think I can still get a solid team. Regardless of what pick you get, you can make the best out of any situation by making smart strategic decisions. Oh, nice. Zeke fell to me. Nice. I'm not even going to explain. I'm taking Zeke at 6. I've seen a couple rankings that are putting Saquon Barkley now that he's on the Giants. This is after the NFL draft. I've seen a couple rankings that are putting Saquon Barkley in the tier of Gurley, Bell, Johnson, and Zeke, and I don't agree with that. I think they're going to feed him, but historically, New York Giants running backs haven't really been that good. So although he's going to get fed, I think do you guys remember last season when Leonard Fournette came in and everybody knew that they were just going to feed him like a lion? I think it's going to be a level above that. So you can't complain, but I think Saquon Barkley's in his own little mini tier, but he is a step below the big, what is that, 4? The big 4 or 5 that I just mentioned. So, okay. So for my first pick, I chose Ezekiel Elliott. I got a really good running back one. I really like how this is going so far. Anytime Zeke falls to me at 6, I am a happy camper. Okay. Seems a lot of wide receivers here. Let me see. I usually go running back heavy, so that way I can just pick 2 good running backs and then set it and forget it. There's a little bit of a drop-off here. I think an argument can be made that Dalvin Cook is a wide receiver running back 1. And Christian McCaffrey isn't a running back 1. He is a high-end running back 2. So there's a really big gap here. Let me take a look at the wide receivers. Okay. There's really not much deviation between these 3. And if I get, for example, Stephon Diggs instead of Devante Adams, that's really... It's not that big of a gap. So I'm going to rock with Dalvin Cook here. He's a running back 1. I like having running back 1s in my running back 2 spots. I think that that's a really good foundation for a good season. However, if you were to go with Devante Adams in that position, I would totally understand because now that Jordy's gone, I'm going to look something up. I'm going to see how many red zone targets Jordy Nelson got. Maybe at the end of the video I can add it on as a bonus. Because all those red zone targets are gone. Oh, you know what? Wonder where Randall Cobb is going. We're going to pay attention to that, too. He's their secondary wide receiver. Okay. Oh, this is awesome. Okay. So last round, I had the opportunity to get Devontae Adams or Mike Evans. But now Adam Thielen's available. And there's millimeter bit of a gap between those 3. So I was able to get a running back 1 as my running back 2. And now I got Adam Thielen, which is a low-end wide receiver 1, but he's still a wide receiver 1. That's good. This is good. Okay. Amari Cooper. Nah. Not Hannanen. Okay. This is a big... I'm not going to choose a running back right here, but this is a really big gap. The fact that Mark Ingram is still available this late is a really good bargain. Ooh. Garbage. You know what? This is actually kind of funny because I spoke too soon. I'm going to choose Mark Ingram here as a 3rd running back, and maybe he could even be a flex because those wide receivers, there's really nobody that's standing out to me. Okay. I can rock with Michael Crabtree as my 2nd wide receiver. It's no problem. You guys all know Michael Crabtree's situation unless you've been living on the moon. I'm not going to go into it. Okay, so at this point I have 3 running backs, I have 2 wide receivers, and it's time for me to get a flex. Usually I like to, especially in PPR, I like to go with flex as wide receivers. Okay, so right now I really think it's between Pierre Garçon and Devin Funchess. It's recommending Robert Woods, but keep in mind that Brandon Cooks went to the LA Rams, and Gurley, they feed Gurley with the ball, you know what I mean? There's not enough balls to go around. Pierre Garçon and Marquise Goodwin, what I'm going to try to do is, this might not happen, but I'm going to try to get Marquise Goodwin later, and then I'm going to take Devin Funchess right here. He's really the team's only wide receiver, and anytime I get a primary wide receiver for a team as my flex, I can't complain about that. So, okay. Pierre Garçon fell to me. Okay, so I do not have a defense, and I don't have a quarterback right now. I'm set on running back. I have 3 wide receivers. I missed out on all the good tight ends. Crap. That's not good. This is not good. This is not good. Okay. Pierre Garçon is in his own lane. Jared Goff. I can get Matt Ryan next. Okay, I need to start worrying about making sure that I get the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. However, Trey Burton, I think Trey Burton is the best tight end around, and I need a tight end, so I'm going to take him. And then I'm hoping that maybe I can get the Jaguars defense next, and then I'm hoping that maybe Matt Ryan will still be around. But quarterbacks aren't the end of the world. Okay. I'm going to reach for the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. One trend I'm noticing, guys, in a realistic draft is that, 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and a tight end. The Jacksonville Jaguars are going, this is in a 12-team league, the Jacksonville Jaguars are going no later than the 8th. And I think that, defenses vary from year to year, but to be honest, I think that if the Jacksonville Jaguars defense is similar to last year, it was like having a second quarterback. I mean, it's fantastic compared to streaming defenses. Okay, nice. Marquise Goodwin is still around. This is good. However, let's take a look. I still don't have a quarterback. Goff is still around. There's really not much deviation among these players. I'm set on running backs. An argument could be made that I could possibly take Jordan Reed here just to get some upside, but I'm going to take Garoppolo's number 2. Next, I'll get a quarterback. Hopefully, Matt Ryan will still be around. Maybe even Goff if I'm lucky. Nice. Nice. Andrew Luck's upside, but what I'm going to do is, you know what? Honestly, guys, I know Andrew Luck's always hurt, but my gut instinct, I need a quarterback right now. I have Andrew Luck and Goff. My gut instinct is telling me to get Luck, so I'm going to get Luck. Hope that he gets ready and he's the old Andrew Luck. What round are we in? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so one thing that it happened really, really fast. Mohamed Sanu and Deontay Foreman just went in the 10th round. So let me see if that matches up to what I was saying. Sanu, yep. Okay, yep, exactly what I was saying. I think that those are good bargains. Okay, upside tight end right here. I have 4 wide receivers. I have 3 running backs. I got to start. Next round, I got to take Greg Zuerlien while he's still around. Okay. Let me see. Is Eifert still available? Okay. Jordan Reed and Tyler Eifert, which I mentioned. However, I'm going to get a second quarterback as an insurance policy because Andrew Luck is always hurt. So now I have 2 solid quarterbacks. See, yep, there goes Eifert. Yep, no more upside tight end. Okay. So, I mean, an argument can be made that I can get Jamal Williams. I'm not sure what the Packers... We're going to talk about that on my next video. Okay. All right. I'm going to reach for Greg Zuerlien here. He's a tier 1 kicker. He's in his own lane. And I think I'm going to make sure, I'm going to do whatever I can to get the Jaguars defense and Greg Zuerlien because they're very unique positions. Okay, Matt Ryan just went now. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12. Okay, so I think we're in the 13th round. Add that. Okay. 2 quarterbacks. I only have 1 tight end, but I doubt that there's anything. Let me see. Is Alan Hurns around right now? Let me see something. Tight end. Okay. Let's see. Where's Alan Hurns? Is he Gonzo's? Yeah, it looks like he's gone. Okay. All right. I'm going to take Jared Cook here as a second tight end. You know, he showed some upside. Or actually, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, I get very indecisive. I'm going to get James White. Can't complain about getting James White this late. Okay. Okay, so I have two draft positions. Wonder, are the Minnesota Vikings still around? Nope, they're gone. Okay, so this is kind of a little weird, but honestly, the way I look at fantasy is that your players are equity. And defense is a very specific position. There might only be one or two superstars in it. And I'm going to take a second defense here. It's only because the second defense fell this late, but I have a man crush on the Ravens. I had them last year, and they helped me win a 12-team league. I think there was one week where they got like 46 points on a Thursday and just like immediately won me my week. So I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens, and if I have, let's just say like later, if I have a weakness, and if the Ravens and the Jaguars are very good, I can trade the Ravens. You know, they're valuable to me. So I'm going to take a second defense right now. Kind of a weird situation. I know a lot of people wouldn't, but I like the Ravens. I have a man crush on them. I'm going to reach for them. Yep, Steven Gostkowski just went. Okay, we have one more pick left. Really, I think right now I should just use it on pure upside. Pure upside. I'm going to take Jared Cook. He's their primary tight end. For the last round, I think he's a really good pick. Okay, guys, so why don't we take a look at my team? Fantasy Pros has given me a C+, but keep in mind that this is the same site that recommends that you take a quarterback in like the third or the fourth round. You know what so I'm basically, and I'm not having an ego either. I'm being humble because this is a very good team. So why don't we go over what I did well and what mistakes I made? So I picked Zeke first, which is solid, can't complain. There was a big drop-off between Dalvin Cook and McCaffrey, so I chose Dalvin Cook. I chose Adam Thielen third, which was fantastic, and I made a mistake. This is where I made a mistake. What did I do? Okay, I took Mark Ingram in the fourth round instead of taking a second wide receiver, and I ended up with Michael Crabtree. I think, God, who was around? I think there was like a Stefon Diggs wide receiver around, like of his level, and I chose Mark Ingram as my third running back, and that led me to get Michael Crabtree as my wide receiver 2. I do not like having a wide receiver 3 as my wide receiver 2, so that is a very big weakness. Another weakness I have is having Trey Burton and Jared Cook as my tight end. I don't like that. In a perfect world, I would have been able to get maybe Delaney Walker or Kyle Rudolph because that's like where I would draft them at. You know, I never reach for big tight ends. I never reach for Gronk, Ertz, or Kelsey because over time this season during my mock drafts, I've studied players that have taken Gronk in the second, and their team really isn't that good. I mean, to be honest, like maybe if he fell late, I would consider it, but I don't really like taking a tight end early. Okay. Defense, I got the Jags. I got Greg Zuerlien as my kicker. As a flex wide receiver, I got Devin Funches. That's okay. That's a little bit of a weakness. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to fantasy, but that's how you get good. Okay, here's a strength. Marquise Goodwin is my fourth wide receiver. I think that that's a strength on my team. I think that Jared Cook, it's not a strength, but I think that he helps the fact that I got Trey Burton. And I think the fact that I got Andrew Luck and Jared Goff was really good because Andrew Luck has upside, And Jared Goff is a solid top 8 quarterback, I'd say. Maybe even not top 6, but top 8 quarterback. So this is my team, guys. If this was my team, I would be a happy camper. However, I would probably have to deal with the fact that I have Michael Crabtree as my second best wide receiver. I don't like that, as I stated earlier. But this is how you learn, So I'd be okay if this was my team, to be honest, but I would probably have to just deal with the fact that I have a wide receiver 3 as my wide receiver 2. I don't like that. So I typed up a couple things, so why don't we make sure and go over them? Oh, you know what? Why don't we take a peek at where Lamar Jackson got chosen? I know this part may get boring, guys. I'll zoom through this. I don't like bullshitting, and I don't like taking forever and yapping. So, did he even get drafted? Tyler Eifert win the 12th. I mentioned him earlier. Oh, Allen. Okay, this is impressive. This is breaking news. I'll put all these discoveries in the description, guys, and in the Google Doc. Okay. Yeah, I don't think the Lamar Jackson even got drafted. So I think that this could be, I think that if you're one of those people that likes to choose a sleeper, I think the fact that you can get Lamar Jackson, I just think he could be a bust. He could be a bust. Or he could be a poor man's Deshaun Watson, You never know. So I want to ask you guys something. I want to say, please give my video a like. Leave a comment, whether it's positive or negative. I don't really care. Maybe there's been a couple people that have been following my videos. Maybe we can talk about maybe doing like some DraftKings head-to-heads, like even just playing for like $1 a week or something, $1 each. It's fun. It's so much fun coming to start the season. So maybe we can possibly talk about maybe exchanging usernames or whatever. So please subscribe, like, comment, let me know what you think. And if you don't agree with anything, please tell me. And also, once again, I'm going to be posting these notes in the comments. And I'm also going to be starting a Google Doc that's clickable by everybody. But the only thing that I ask, guys, is please do not erase anything from the Google Doc. Please add to it and tell me your disagreements. Okay, so I want to thank you guys for watching the video. This has been a lot of fun. Right now it's the middle of May. The season's coming up. I also have another video about how to win your league, and it doesn't talk about any players, and it's not a mock draft. It's just a step-by-step instruction, what to do, what patterns to develop, and there's also a couple secrets in there. If you just watch the video, there's a couple secrets that'll give you the edge over other players that are just average Joes when it comes to fantasy. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm out. Have a good night.